How's it going, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning into this early video. You guys know that I normally post on Sundays, but nevertheless, I was asked a phenomenal question from the neighbor up north, Mr. Cody Rawlick. Greatly appreciate your question. Today in this video I'm going to answer. I saw this question this morning, and you know, I really wanted to make this video for a while, but I wanted to make sure that at least someone was interested. You know, if you're new to the channel, please go back, get all the old information off some of my older videos. But the questions that were asked was, picked up a 93 K3500 dually, going from an 800 horsepower 6.4 to these things is a bit of a change, but I have some spare parts, i.e. an AirDog 4G lift pump. Would like to see more of an in-depth video on your fass setup, like how you wired it in, whether it was you know, just running the toggle switch to make the pump work, or you know, actually using some different methods. Also interested in hearing more about the rest of your fuel system. So today I will get into the differences of 93 and older trucks as far as their injection system, and 94 and newer trucks. There is a significant difference. I'll show you exactly how my lift pump is wired, set up, everything, what parts I have to increase the fuel for this truck, but there are some differences to recognize whether you have a 93 and older or 94 and newer truck. So first, the differences. 93 and older trucks have a mechanically driven and mechanically actuated injection pump, and the 94 and newer trucks have a mechanically driven, electronically controlled injection pump. So what that means is that the older trucks obviously have cables going to the injection pump. They have no electronics going to the injection pump, and the 94 and newer trucks do. The 94 and newer trucks are mechanically driven, just like the older ones, but they have what's called an optical sensor and a PMD, which is a pump mounted driver. You know, some people hear PMD, you know, that's, you know, a big problem. Well, there's a fix for it, and I'll show you it. Also, there's a mod for the PMD to get more fuel as well. So that being said, I'll go over the differences of that. Also, the mods to my truck are, some of them are compatible to the older trucks, some of them aren't, and I'll go into that further depth. But I have a fass 165 titanium lift pump with some Caterpillar high micron filtration filters. I also have a Swag Diesel Performance sump kit on the tank. That was a pain in the butt for sure. If I had to do it again, I'd do it a little differently, but that's for another video. I have a tuned ECM from QuadStar. I have marine injectors. I have the Feed the Beast mod. I have aftermarket return lines. I did an optical bump mod on my injection pump, and I have a number 5 resistor on my PMD. So why would we want more fuel? Well, more fuel, more power, as long as it's mixed properly with air. I have the fuel mods that I described or talked about just a second ago. I don't have anything as far as air other than a SMB intake and a mechanical wastegate on my GM5 turbo. So I make more power than stock, but I'm hindered by the turbo. I do plan on getting a new turbo in the future. In the near future, actually. Stay tuned for that video. And I plan on building an intake for it so that SMB may come up for grabs in the near future. So, how to get more fuel out of the 93 and older trucks? Well, Quadstar, I believe, has reman injection pumps that you can get more fuel out of. Injection pumps are pricey. I'm not lying when I say that you're damn near going to spend an arm and a leg for the injection pumps, but there are supporting things you can do before you buy an injection pump. You know, you can get your ECM chipped. Quadstar, I believe, also sells chips for those old ECMs. Just take them out, put them in. Old school. I believe you can still do the Feed the Beast mod. I'll get into that here when we start looking at the truck. Obviously, you can do a lift pump on the old girls. Lift pumps don't care what they're on. All the wiring's basically the same. Yeah, and then obviously the marine injectors. You can go with bigger lines. The factory ones, along with the Feed the Beast mod, were pretty restrictive. But if you're gonna upgrade your fuel, upgrade your air. Don't just upgrade one like I have so far. The 94 and newer trucks, you have an optical sensor. You can, oh, I'm sorry. Before I get on to the 94 and old trucks, you can adjust the timing on the 93 and older trucks by rotating the injection pump itself. The relation to, now we're on to the 94 and newer trucks, is the optical bump and the resistor for the PMD. So the optical bump, or the optical sensor on the 94 and newer trucks is located on top of the pump, and you undo the, I believe they're T10 Torx bits. Also undo the C-clip, push the optical sensor down through, lift the cap up, and there will be another big Torx bit in there that you're going to have to undo. And if your injection pump hasn't been frigged with, the optical sensor should line up perfectly with a little line that's on the rotating shaft. Or no, I'm sorry, not rotating shaft, but there's a flat plane in there that the injection optical bump or optical sensor sits on. You can advance or retard that sensor by undoing that nut or bolt, moving it, and it's very small degrees. You don't go crazy with it, because then your truck's gonna friggin' act stupid. Adjust it just a hair, and then tighten it back down. If you need pictures on that, I know Google has a couple really good pictures that show just how far to adjust the optical sensor. Now for the 93 and older trucks, what you are going to do is you are going to undo the 3 bolts that actually hold the injection pump onto the front cover, or the timing cover of your motor, and rotate the injection pump either to the passenger or the driver's side. That will advance or retard the timing of the injection pump. That will get more fuel or less fuel. I won't go into which one is better. If you want more fuel, advance it. If you want to, quote unquote, make your injection pump last longer, some people swear by it, then retard your injection pump. But I've never had an issue with, since I've done the optical bump to my truck, which has been over a year now, so there's that. Now the resistor for the PMD. The PMD is the pump mounted driver located from factory on the injection pump, hence PMD. These gave a fit when they first came out with the electronic actuated pumps. The fix for that is the Pmd Relocation kit with the heat sink. Some people put them down in the bumper. I typically put them on the driver's side fender on the inside. Just get it away from that heat. It will throw weird codes. It will act stupid. But the positives of having a 93 and older truck is you don't have to frig with the electronics. If you're not afraid of electronics, then any 6.5 you desire is going to work for you. Yeah, so I guess it's time to actually start showing you the mods, so to speak. So I'll get my phone out of here, make sure I didn't stop it, and get a light. So from factory, on the driver's side, just above the transmission crossmember, there is the plug for the factory lift pump. Now, the factory lift pumps were crap. They didn't give anything for fuel pressure, and they were mounted directly right there. So the way I run the wires is I use the factory plug as the signal, and then I run it up there, which I'll show you in a second. I have a Swag Diesel Performance sump kit. Ridiculous to install. If you wanted more in depth on that, you know, I'll make a video sometime. The tank has a baffle, and where I cut it, I cut directly into the baffle, so I spent literally an hour removing it. And then you have the lift pump. So the way I have it mounted is I took off the cap for the, here we go, took off the cap for the cab mount. I was going to use my bed mount, but you can see the hole for my bed doesn't line up with that bolt. All the other ones do, but that one, so I imagine that mount is tweaked a little bit. But your feed from my sump kit goes into the back of the injection pump. Your lift pump. The bottom one is return. You have that go up to The filler neck, which they give you the supplied hardware, just order it for a Duramax, and all this shit will work. There will be extra parts and stuff, so don't be afraid of that. And then you have your primary feed line that goes up along the frame rail to the filter in the valley. I'm sorry, to the filter in the valley, and then from the filter to the injection pump. And that's where the Feed the Beast mod comes in. But before I talk about the Feed the Beast mod, the wiring. So the wires that will come in any lift pump kit that you order have a 12 volt positive, a negative, a relay, a fuse, and a signal. So what you want to do, and what I did for mine, and I've never had an issue with either one of the lift pumps that I had in this truck, in my old truck, is you're going to use the signal from the old lift pump for the signal wire. That way you don't have to run an auxiliary switch. You can just use that, and the truck will think that it has just any lift pump on it. The truck doesn't care what the lift pump is. It just needs one. So and that way you don't have to run an auxiliary switch. You don't have to try and wire it to the ignition switch or find, something stupid in the fuse box, anything like that. The fuses are already there. The wire's already there. Just use that wire for the old lift pump as your signal. Then run the 12 volt hot and the ground to the battery. Those, and I have them right here. Then they go into a fuse. Then I run them up. Come to a relay. And here's the little red wire. Come on now. It's there. Yep. See, right there. That's the ignition supply. And then you have both your positive and negative come in. And then this part of the harness goes right down to the injection pump. You don't have to frig with anything, and it just makes it super simple and keep it nice and clean. Shorten your wires up, shit like that. Okay, so that's how to install the lift pump. Now, the other supporting mods to do with 6.5s is your PMD. The PMD is originally mounted right down there. You see this bolt, or this is right here, what I'm pointing at. That bolt. That's the top of your injection pump, and on the very side of that, underneath this very restrictive intake hat, is your injection pump, and it's a real pain in the butt to get to. The PMDs are originally mounted there. Problem with that is you take electronics, get them hot, and then they start frying out, and that was a major problem back in the early 90s about these electronic injection pumps. So you take that PMD and you mount it over here, mount it down on the bumper or anywhere to keep it away from heat. And then you buy these little resistors. They're only the size of the plug. And you take the plug off, put your resistor directly in the PMD, and you plug it back in, and it just tricks the injection pump to give it more fuel. The optical sensor on these 94 and older trucks is on top of the pump itself, and is a bigger pain in the butt to get to, because you don't have to remove your intake hat to get at the connector. If you want to leave your stock factory PMD there, you can just unplug it, run the wires over, and then you're good. The optical bump, you have to remove the intake hat, and then there is, you'll see like a little cap, a little blue cap down there. It's the flat part that hose goes into. There's a sensor there, and you will, if you look it up on Google, it'll show you how to, or what to do when you bump it. So for the 93 and older trucks, you would actually take those bolts off that mount to the front cover, and let's see if I can, yep, that bolt right there, and there's one down there and over here. You take those 3 bolts off, and you would physically like rotate the pump to advance or retard the injection. Pretty simple on those old trucks, but man, it can be a pain in the butt to get to those bolts for sure. Obviously, you have to take the intake hat and the intake manifold off in order to do that, but if you like these things as much as I do, you do anything to improve it. Oh, why did it climb down? The Feed the Beast mod. That hose right there comes all the way from, oh shit, there we go, comes all the way from the filter, which, yeah, it's not very far. And then the other hose for the inlet to the filter is where is the hose that actually goes down to the lift pump. So your lift pump hose comes into the filter, from the filter to that hose right there. This little, let's see if I can get a good shot. That little plastic, or I'm sorry, metal elbow right there is the Feed the Beast mod. It is bigger than the factory inlet for the injection pump. The factory inlet was more restrictive, didn't let fuel actually like come in to the injection pump nearly as much as that one. Leroy Diesel also has an update for the Feed the Beast mod. So there's a little more fuel I could do to this thing, but that's the Feed the Beast mod, and I believe you can still do that on the old injection pumps. I also mentioned I have marine injectors. They're loud when you first start them up, but as soon as the truck gets used to them, they quiet down. Injectors can be a little pricey, like lift pump and injection pump, shit like that. But you know, if you're wanting to play with these things, they're cheaper than the newer trucks, I would say. But yeah, so there are differences between the older 6.5s and the newer 6.5s for sure, but it just depends on whether you want electronic injection or electronically actuated injection versus running cables to the top of the injection pump. I like both. I don't care. They're good motors. Like, it doesn't matter. But yeah, as far as fuel goes, I mean, the aftermarket return lines, they're just return lines. They got this braided, let's see. See right there, this line. Fuck. Yeah. Alright, so right there is my injector. And this is braided line right here. That's your return lines. The factory ones were known for cracking. Pretty typical for being plastic. But those ones will save you from being left on the side of the road for sure. So that is the lift pump install in a nutshell. I hope this helped you guys out. I greatly appreciate y'all for tuning into these videos. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. I will get to them as soon as possible. If you want to see anything specific about my truck or ask about anything you want to see, I will get it. I want to be the most informative person making 6.5 videos or IDI videos in general. Oh, also, if you're new to the channel, me and my wife run an Instagram, IDI Legends. If you like old 6.5, 6.2s, 6.9, and 7.3 IDI trucks, it is the perfect place for you to meet and talk to other IDI enthusiasts. More to come on IDI Legends for sure. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Sorry this was a longer one. I hope you made it all the way through. If you did, please like this video. But I hope that was informative enough for you. If you need to see anything more, just ask. I'll make it. But appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next one. I hope you have a great weekend. We are headed up to North Carolina tomorrow. Today's Friday for the truck show. Again, my truck won't be in the truck show, but I will be there. If anybody wants to meet up, please let me know. Forget the name of the damn truck show. Go to my last video. It'll be there. But thank you guys. I'm going to drive home. So have a good weekend, everybody.